Alright folks, we are back with another episode of Lord of Mysteries, but before we dive into today's episode, let's quickly recall what happened last time. So previously the Secret Order was furious with Vincent because he failed to acquire the Antigonus family notebook, so to prove his loyalty that lunatic even chewed off his own fingers and swore he would retrieve it. But the one constantly tangled with that cursed notebook was none other than Klein, so Vincent used Selena, one of Melissa's friend, to attack Klein. But luck was on Klein's side and he managed to defeat that malicious spirit on his own. Due to that failure, Vincent met his end at the hands of the Secret Order. Later on, Klein and Smith found his corpse along with clues pointing toward the Order's terrifying ambition. They intended to resurrect an evil god. And that was something truly horrifying, so the higher-ups decided to personally handle that case, which gave Klein some breathing room to focus on other matters. One day a woman had come to him desperate to find her missing fiancé. And using his seer abilities, Klein saw the man had miraculously survived a devastating ship incident. But to dig deeper into this mystery, Klein attended an opera performance that was glorifying the so-called hero Triss. The man hailed for saving a single survivor from that same ship incident. The performance was marvelous, but it was interrupted by Smith bringing word that Daly was escorting the Antigonus notebook back to Backland, under the care of the higher-ups, since he was still recovering from his ordeal. In the meantime, Klein also uncovered that this true creator worshipped by the Secret Order shared similarities with other cults who serves the same primordial being. But for now, Klein turned his focus back to the grateful couple. They came to thank Klein and Triss for their help, but Klein noticed Mr. Meyer, that fiancé guy, was haunted by something. So in private, Meyer revealed he had been seeing that horrifying incident in his dreams, so Klein told him to recall the dream so he could witness it as well, and what he saw was chilling. A man throwing a baby into the sea before leaping after it. Meyer had tried to save that man because he was the only other survivor, as everyone else aboard had suddenly begun committing suicide. But then Klein realized the true culprit behind it all was Triss, the supposed hero. Upon that realization, Klein's vision was pulled elsewhere and he heard the names Hornacius and Phlegria echoing. Whatever secrets lay behind those words, the mystery ran deep, so Klein ended the divination right there and shared all this with Smith, that Triss had caused the massacre and crowned himself a hero by saving just one man. So Smith decided to turn this case over to the mandated punishers. Meanwhile, Triss enjoyed a lavish evening with those same women whose husband he killed, but now his plans were closing in, so his colleague arrived and we learned Triss was a beyonder walking down the assassin's pathway. They plotted to unleash massive bloodshed upon Tingen City, and to aid him she handed him a Sequence 7 advancement recipe. Completely unaware of this sinister plan, Klein was busy looking for protective charms for his siblings. Their Neil guided him through a secret passage leading to a bustling underground market where one could find everything from rare mystical ingredients to enchanted materials. There Klein experienced a strange sense of déjà vu when he spotted a madman whose spiritual presence were strong. That man smelled death from Klein, which wasn't entirely wrong given that the real Klein had already died once. But ignoring that weird encounter, Neil led him to his regular shop where he suggested Klein to buy a half-complete amulet to save money and finish it later, but nothing interesting caught Klein's eye. Instead, he spotted Triss in the crowd and immediately tailed him, but others were also after him, and after realizing this, Triss ran for his life as bullets whizzed past him. One even struck his hand. Yet the sly fox still managed to slip away and vanished into the streets. Klein had grabbed his hat during the chase and used it to track him down. Meanwhile, Smith relayed that the punishers had linked Triss to multiple murder cases across neighboring cities, confirming he was a Sequence 8 assassin likely connected to the Demoness section, a faction of fanatics who worshipped a primordial Demoness and whose ranks consisted entirely of women's. Then they tracked him to a hideout, but only women's came out of there. One woman clearly didn't look good, so Klein lets her go, since Triss was their true target, but once again the man had vanished into thin air. After that, Klein officially became a full-time member of the Nighthawks. His pay was increased, which was a nice bonus. Then he resumed his regular studies in mysticism and combat, so everything seemed oddly peaceful for a while. Until Leo came knocking on his door with a disturbing case. Recently a string of suicides were happening in the city, and all the victims shared the same traits. They were all poor laborers and terminally ill who were barely clinging to their life. It reminded Klein about real Klein, had same struggles as a child before his death. Then Klein observed that each victim had been tapped on the back by someone before they committed suicide. The hand appeared feminine. So it suggested that there's a link between Triss and this mysterious woman. Leo trusted Klein's instincts and said this dude got a theory here. So Klein speaks up that he believed the killer was harvesting the remaining lifespan of these dying victims, because all of the victims were supposed to die early in life. And Smith rules out a possibly that the woman wants to fuel a massive curse or summon an evil god using their souls. The logic fits perfectly, so there had to be an altar for his ritual too. So Smith brought a personal item from one of the victims and Klein used it to locate the site through divination. The Nighthawks prepared to strike immediately, and just as they arrived, Smith decided to pull the woman into an illusion first before launching their attack, but the witch sensed intruders closing in and cloaked herself in invisibility to escape. One Nighthawk detected her aura but she struck first, only to find herself trapped in Smith's illusion, so she cut her own palm and used the blood to shatter the illusion, giving the team a clean shot at her, but it turned out to be a body double spell, the real witch was still inside. Now she was fully aware and prayed to the primordial demoness for strength, and unleashed the souls of her victims to swarm the Nighthawks. Their wails clawed at the minds of the hunters but Smith's sheer willpower shredded through the psychic assault, then he lunged to capture her but she again used demoness powers. So Smith had to forcibly vaporize her demonic power to bring her into the open. Desperate, the witch plucked a flower to stab Leo, and used it to curse him by drawing his blood. Leo quickly realized that and made a substitute using a strand of his hair and a nail to avoid certain death. With that the witch slipped through their grasp. And later Klein reconstructed her image using a mystical mirror and the sight left everyone stunned. Her features har resemblance to Triss, so Leo bets that it is actually Triss, and he transformed into a woman. Which explained his disappearances and how he got into the all-female demoness section. That means many men had reshaped themselves into women just to serve their primordial demoness, and now, Triss was in a train enchanting many dumb men to maybe cause yet another mass murder under the new name of Trissy. And right there episode 5 ends, but stay tuned to find out what more mysteries unravels in the Lord of Mysteries. Until then, take care.